Saturday, NFL, Cincinnati Bengals on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Matt Brown, Mo Noir, brought to you by The Lines here. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to us on the audio side, hit that comment section, hit that review section as well. Let everybody know that you're getting some good information here. 2.5 in favor of Cincinnati on the road at Pittsburgh. 47.5 is our total, plus 114 if you want the money line, thinking the Steelers win this thing outright. Mo, we know what the deal is here. Cincinnati, to keep their very, very slim chances at the playoffs alive, do in fact have to win this game. I guess the wrinkle here would be the Steelers could, in theory, have really kind of nothing to play for here in this one if the Ravens win and whatever. I mean, if we're kind of like reading the tea leaves of what happens on Sunday, right? And so I don't know exactly how Tomlin is going to play it should the Ravens go ahead and win that early game. Motivations and things and whatnots are all stuff that we're trying to have to guess here in Week 18.
Yeah, it's super up in the air in this one. This is one of the most hard to read spots because it's like, in theory, the Steelers should be playing hard no matter what, because you probably want to face the Texans and not the Ravens in the first round. But I don't know how the Steelers staff basically weighs that against a possible bye week. We have seen Tomlin rest his guys in the past for the most part in these spots, but I don't know if seeding was in play in those spots. And it is here where basically if the Steelers were to lose and the Chargers were to win, they would drop a spot in the seeding and wind up playing in Baltimore, where they're obviously going to be pretty big underdogs. They're barely going to be underdogs to Houston.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty clear that they should want to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, say it's 17-3.
Yeah.
Do you ever just value the rest more at that point too?
So this is the thing that I brought up earlier in the week, where it's like, it might not be a rest situation from the get-go. It could be a rest situation in game where, as Mo just brought up, the scenario just plays out where you're midway through the third quarter, you're down 2 touchdowns, you're down maybe even 3 scores or something. And it's just like, okay, at this point, it's just not worth it at all. Our fate is all but sealed. Let's go ahead and get these dudes off the field and all that. It's a deal for me, Mo, where I think I could only find myself on Cincinnati's side, and this has nothing to do with the motivation factor of Cincinnati or anything like that. I think it just comes down to there are scenarios that exist in which the Steelers could decide, as you mentioned, that just getting some of these guys off the field, even if it's resting, even if getting an extra quarter and a half of 2 quarters of not taking hits, of not having to, whatever it might be, not having to block, not having to anything like that for some of these linemen, some of these defensive guys that have been nicked up along the way, if they don't find their way to the sideline. So again, for me, I think it would have to be Bengals or pass for me. I don't think I could feel super comfortable backing the Steelers here. Certainly not at under a field goal.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you in the sense of I could see some situations where the Steelers pull their guys. That being said, if the Steelers try, if somebody gave me a crystal ball, no results, but they said Steelers are trying this whole game, I think +2 is a bit too high. Mm-hmm. I think there's some signal in the thrashing that the Steelers handed the Bengals in the prior game. Russell Wilson threw for 414 yards in that game. I think that has some signal. And I know that Cincinnati's defense has definitely gotten a few stops in recent weeks. I think they're just basically feasting on tomato can offenses for the most part. I mean, the Broncos definitely played much better on offense than some more recent opponents like the Browns and the Titans. Pittsburgh seems like a worse team than they were at that point of the season for sure. I still think +2 is a bit too high. I had my fare closer to even on this one. I do favor the Bengals very slightly, but it's not 2 for me. But I'm not looking to bet the Steelers. I think if you okay, so let me reverse that. I did bet the Steelers money line. Mm-hmm. If you can find a book that will let you parlay Steelers money line with Raiders money line, this is a correlated parlay that I think is plus EV clearly, because even if you just think the Steelers is a fair line, which is basically what I think. Basically, if they win, the Chargers will just basically bench everybody. They have no reason to play hard. So at that point, Raiders money line becomes really good, I think. I think the Raiders, I don't know how deep in the weeds we want to get into this, but I think the Raiders should probably close favored if that happens. And they're +4 right now. So that's just a little sprinkle fun parlay. Yeah. It should be around +500. It's already coming down on the Raiders end because of this. I think people have realized this, and some books won't even let you parlay these because they're correlated. If your book won't let you parlay them, then just throw in a third game that you like and make it a 3-teamer, and it still should be plus EV basically because of the Steelers and the Raiders correlation. So that's what I did just for fun here, but it's not a big bet or anything. I just think it's a fun sweat because it's highly correlated. The Raiders should be favored if the Steelers win. Yeah. So even though I don't think the Steelers are like gonna win, that's not my pick in this game, I think it's reasonable enough that they could win, that the Raiders being +180 or whatever they are is crazy given this situation.
I think there's a way, if you want to kind of get a two-way bet here in on Cincinnati as well, which is is there a scenario, in your opinion, Mo, given the state of the run game for Cincinnati, given that Chase Brown's kind of banged up as it is anyway, it looks like it might have to be some Khalil Herbert in all of this or whatever, Joe Burrow at 300 yards, you can find at +130 out there. And it's kind of if they win, they're very likely passing efficiently and Joe Burrow's having a big game. And if they're getting down in this game, then it's likely that they just completely and totally abandon the run. And unlike most teams, they actually thrive in these situations. I know a lot of times these teams are oh, you think this works in their favor. It actually works against them because the defense knows exactly what you're going to do, and they're able to just tee off with the pass rush and all that. But it's a different animal with Burrow and Chase and T. Higgins and all the stuff like that. I wonder if there's kind of a 2 outcome bet in Burrow at either his over 274.5, which is out there, or just at the 300 plus at a +130, +135-ish number, where a good outcome gets you there, and then even a bad outcome gets you there as well.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And I was going to say, and you made me think definitely along those lines, if the Bengals fall behind, say it's 14-3, I mean, I don't know what the live total would be, but I would guess it's not going to be reflecting enough what you're saying, which you can probably just automatically bet the live over and just have a good bet at that point, because it's like you said, they're just going to throw every down, and whether they're successful or not, I mean, they're going to go for fourths too, own territory, stuff like that. I've seen Zach Taylor be aggressive in these spots in the past, and I think with the season on the line, he definitely would. So I do like that look as well. And same thing if Cincy gets up, where like we were saying, I would think Cincinnati live at that point might be good. I know their defense probably won't get stops, but like we said, I could see Pittsburgh just resting their guys and just being okay, we're probably not winning this game, so let's not risk anything stupid happening.
Right.
Cincinnati
They already saw what this offense looks like without George Pickens, right? You're Mike Tomlin, you're not a moron, right? It's hey, if this dude gets hurt again running an unnecessary route, we have zero chance of winning in the playoff.
Just a minimal leverage spot where very unlikely you're affecting the outcome at that point. It seems kind of silly at that point, and we have seen the Steelers value rest, so I think this is going to be a good live betting game no matter what.
Yeah, it's certainly one to pay attention to, guys, and of course we'll have good information because we'll know what happens with Baltimore earlier in the day by the time that this thing kicks off again. Sitting about 2.5 in favor of Cincinnati on the road, as low as 47.5, as high as 48.5 out there in the market from a total standpoint. As always, everything we do absolutely free, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Do appreciate that down below. And if you're listening to the audio side, a little rating, a little review, all of that certainly helps as well. Lines.com, up right-hand corner is Discord. That too is free. You can get everyone's opinion here on this game along the way. For Mo, I am Matt. Good luck on all your Cincinnati and Pittsburgh bets.